Hey, it's all about fencing, but can we put up a fence today? It's raining. Okay, so change of plans today. I was planning on putting up my vinyl fence. I have a couple of panels and a gate to put up on a vinyl fence in one little spot in my yard. And as soon as I got the old fence down and was getting ready to put up the vinyl fence, it starts raining. And it's raining hard enough that I don't want to be standing out there in the rain trying to build a fence. So, I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. So I will shoot that video anyway. But instead, today, I decided to just go over some things about, why I have the types of fences I do. I have actually 3 different kinds of fences in my yard, and I was going to go over a little bit about why. So I wrote down some things here on a whiteboard, and we'll go over those real quick. So I've got a wooden fence. It's a 4-board wooden fence. Now, in these rural areas, typically you'll see either 4-board or 3-board wood fences. Those are horizontal boards in between the posts. And then I also have the vinyl fence I'm trying to put up. It's close to the house. And then I have a welded wire fence. They're little squares. They're, I think they're 2 inches by 4 inch squares. Welded wire that goes up on green T-posts. I have that around the backyard. I also have a larger square. I think it's a 4x4 square welded wire as well, but that's just because I had that left over from long ago. And then I also looked at some of the pre-made pressure-treated pine fence panels. So those would be, around the garden area near the house where I'm putting up the vinyl fence instead. And I'll go over a couple of reasons why I decided to go with the vinyl instead of the pressure-treated pine. Because those are the 4 types of fences that I was looking at, and there's a huge difference in cost. So if you want to look at pros and cons for all those, the first thing you got to do is compare cost. Now, 4-board fence, I am going to be extending and building the 4-board fence. Actually, I'm going to change it over to a 3-board fence, I think, just to make it a little bit cheaper. But because it's going to be a combination of the board fence plus the welded wire attached to it. And that's part of the pros and cons. But the 4-board fence itself, when we put it up, and even today if I were to extend it, it will cost me about $3 a foot to put up that 4-board fence. Whereas the welded wire fence alone, I put that up and I have about 200 feet of that, and that cost me about $2 a foot to put that up. The pressure-treated pine fence panels, if you were to buy those at Lowe's, Home Depot, big box stores, they generally will run you about $13 a foot between the panels, the posts, and all the hardware. This is just materials cost that I'm talking about for any of these fences. So about $13 a foot for the pine fence panels. So it's quite a big difference, quite a big jump from the board fence or the welded wire fence to the treated. But then, you want to talk about expensive, try putting up a vinyl fence, because the vinyl fence runs about $33 a foot. And that's why I'm not putting up a large one. I don't mind putting that up when it's just a short piece of wood. There's no way I'm not putting a vinyl fence all the way around my yard where I want to put a fence, because I probably have 800 feet of fencing I want to put up, and at $33 a foot, I can't afford that. I don't know who can. That's crazy. But when I'm only putting up really about 25 feet of fencing is all it's going to be, plus a gate. At $33 a foot, that's not really that bad. It's still expensive, obviously, but it's not as bad as trying to put up 800 feet of it. Some of the reasons why I chose the vinyl were just because the maintenance on it. There will be no maintenance for the lifetime of that fence once it's up. And I put up, a couple of years ago, I put up vinyl fencing around our trash can area where we have our trash cans, and it looks really nice. The vinyl fencing looks the best between all the fencing, in my opinion. And then it's going to last. I don't know how long it's supposed to last, 20-25 years easily. And then it's going to look nice throughout that lifetime. There's no maintenance. I don't have to regularly paint or stain it or take care of it in any way. It should just last out in the sun. Now my biggest concern is the UV exposure. How does that affect the plastic or the vinyl on the vinyl fence? Does that, how long does it really last? So that was my only question. But that's why I went with the vinyl fence for those short runs, for that little small area. It's just going to look nicer. So that's what I did. But for the fencing that I'm going to put around the property, I have the wood floorboard fence up in the front, and that's what I want to put around the whole yard. At $3 a foot, that's not a big deal. It's going to be, 800 feet of fencing at $3 a foot is $2,400, right? It would be 10 times that to put up the vinyl fence. So $2,400 or $24,000, which one do you want? So that's what I'm doing. But really, what I'm going to be putting up is the board fence plus the welded wire fence all together, so that the dogs can't get out. That's one of the cons of the floorboard fence, is that the dogs, I have small dogs, so they climb right through the little board fence over there, and I'm having to do some things to keep them in. So I'm going to put the welded wire on the, we did that at my son's house, and it worked out really well. It looks really nice. So combination, it's going to be $5 a foot. So it is going to be a little more expensive, but $5 a foot for 800 feet, still only $4,000. So now that's materials cost to put that fence up. That's all the materials needed, and so that's where we're going with that. So yeah, give me some comments about fencing that you used. If you've got any other pros and cons to add to the types of fencing that I mentioned. But those are the types of fencing that are used out here near where I live, because I have a horse farm next to me, so I'm trying to blend into the neighborhood. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so just a quick tip on the fence building. So as you can see, I'm getting the fence built here. This is the vinyl fence, and you've got to dig a hole, put these posts in. And so I have two types of post hole diggers. You can see the old standard one here, the yellow handle. That's your standard, clamp. You clamp it together, you dig in the hole, pull it out. But you have to slam that in the hole and, dig the dirt out, and that takes a lot of energy. The other style is this screw type here. Now, you would think that this would be, I don't know, harder, but it is way easier. I recommend that if you are needing a post hole digger, that you just get this screw type here, because literally on this one, all you do with this is you just put it on the ground where you want it. Now I can't do this while I'm holding the phone, but you just rotate the handle around. You just twist it around, and when you twist it around, it's gonna, it's designed with kind of a screw tip, so it pulls itself down into the ground, and it screws down into the ground. So this hole over here, I started digging with the old style. So for the other post, I started digging with the old style, and I got down about a foot, and it had taken me, I don't know, probably 10-15 minutes to get down a foot, because the ground is kind of hard right now. But then I remembered I had this one, and I went and got it, and I dug down the rest of the way that I needed. It's over 2 feet deep, and I dug the rest of the way in just a matter of minutes. And this one here is starting a lot easier too. I mean, I can almost start this one-handed while I'm standing here. So this type hole digger is way easier than the old-fashioned, you know, clamp style. So just a tip on, if you're in the market to buy a post hole digger, I would get this. The other thing about this one is this is a threaded pipe. So this is the handle piece. It threads in down here, and then you can take this handle out, get another piece of threaded pipe, thread it in there, and extend this handle as much as you want. So if you need to dig a deep hole, you can get some extensions, threaded pipe extensions, and you can make that as deep as you want. You can get threaded pipe just at a big box store. Any of this hardware store has threaded pipe generally, and that's just standard threaded pipe. So you can extend the handle on that. I purposely got this type because I am going to dig some, I need to dig some holes that are about 10 to 12 feet deep. So I'm going to get a 10-foot extension and dig those holes with that and see how it goes. I've seen people post videos on using that type to dig those type of holes, and it seems pretty easy. I mean, the only thing is that screw thing fills up with dirt, and then you got to pull it out. Well, you get down 8-10 feet and got to pull that whole thing out every time. I mean, you're gonna have to do that anyway, but it does give you the option of digging a really deep hole, and then it's manageable for one person. So okay, so gonna go over this time. I got the camera on a stand so you can see it a little bit better, but this is all this is. It's got a screw. It's like a drill bit on the end, and you just turn it. So I'll put this in the hole, and you just kind of turn it, and it's not difficult, and you pull it out, and you got all this dirt. Get the dirt out, and you continue on like that. And like I said, you can dig the hole as deep as you need because it uses a threaded pipe, so you can add on extensions. Threaded pipe, I mean, the standard ones at the store come in 5 or 10 foot lengths, so you can just thread on additional extensions, and you can drill the hole as deep as you want. So now when you run into rocks, it's kind of a pain. Around here, the first foot in the ground, just about anywhere I drill, I run into rocks, but they're not huge rocks. They're these small quartz rocks that are everywhere, and generally I just keep fiddling with it, and it gets around the rocks and pulls them out. So as long as they're not too big. If I run into a big one, then I end up having to get the other post hole digger or a shovel and get it out of there. But so far I've just been able to just mess with it and eventually get the rocks out and lift them out of there. So that's how to use that little post hole. So I'm gonna continue this so I can put up my other posts. I've got this, I got the post to put in that hole, and then I can start, I'm gonna put up the panel. I've got this panel right here, and then I've got a gate that I'm putting on right here. So okay, here I am. I've got the one panel up. So like I said, today's project is basically to get this one panel up and then get the gate up so that I got this section done. This part is going to be for another day. I have to order these panels a couple at a time because they're expensive. But so the panel went up pretty well. The vinyl panels, basically they all snap together, and then you put this bracket on and you just slide the panel in and screw it together, and it's there. It's pretty sturdy once you get it up. For the gate, it's the same thing. You snap it all together, and then to hold it together is these brackets. So there are brackets at each end of these cross beams that go through all the beams, and then this is the hinge here. So this hinge is going to mount on the post over here so that the door will swing inwards and out of the way over here. So that's where I'm at. Hey everyone, so I'm all done with the fence. As you can see, I've got the gate up, I've got my panel up. So this part of the fence is completed. I did put concrete in the posts to make it a little more solid, so the fence is pretty solid now, and it works great. I love this. I love how this gate works. It's very simple, closes nice. So as you can remember, it's just I just have this one panel and the gate that I put up for now. I am going to continue this vinyl fence all the way over until it reaches the wooden fence over there. So that's about 5 more panels that I have to put up, and so that's the plan for the future. I just have to order those and get those in. This color is a special color, special order. So I have to order the panels, but that's a good thing. They get delivered right to the house. So once I get those in, then I can finish this fence. But this project's been pretty fun. This fence is very easy to put up. The gate was probably the hardest part. But the rest of the fence is very easy to assemble, easy to put up, and it should last a long time. And it looks really nice. So if you're in the market for a vinyl fence, take a look at doing something like that. Hey, just want to remind everyone, go ahead and subscribe to the videos and share with your friends. This is what I like to do on weekends, is piddle around the yard. So join me next time.